Hello. Nice to see you again in my latest video today. In today's video I would like to share with you about the US upgrading of the missile RIT drive on the B-52 bomber. Giant. Although introduced in the 1950s at the height of the Cold War, the B-52 Flying Fortress is still in service today. It is one of the most recognizable long-range bombers in the history of world aviation. To match the modern battlefield, B-52 has changed quite a lot over the years. Strategic bomber with a length of 48.5 meters. One of the most impressive of these upgrades is the addition of the CSRN strategic rotary launcher. CSRN is basically a giant rotary containing missiles installed into the B-52's bomb hold. The B-52's bomb bay has impressive measurements of 29 cubic meters and was originally designed to carry about 31 tons of ammunition. Works almost like the revolver of a CSRL pistol, which can rotate freely, allowing the pilot or gunner of the B-52 to choose different missiles and bombs, depending on the given situation. CSRL is pre-assembled with the bomb and the missile is then mounted on the B-52, which has been fitted with a special internal system to be able to hold the rotation and deploy the CFR. CSRLs themselves are extremely complex devices and they go through hours of preparation by engineers before being loaded with rockets and mounted on the B-52. Maintenance teams in the U.S. Air Force regularly practice loading missiles on CSRL and installing them in B-52. These exercises aim to master how to operate the equipment as well as demonstrate their high combat readiness. In case of emergency, B-52 is required to reload and take off during learn time, hence this kind of practice is necessary for B-52's combat readiness operations. A fully loaded 1 CSRL usually weighs tens of tons, so it requires specialized remote lifting equipment to move and install, a process that requires the meticulousness and supervision of multiple ground personnel. With this upgrade, a SRL-equipped B-52 can easily switch from a conventional heavy bomb to a GPS-guided laser-guided missile or cruise missiles and many other modern missiles. Guided laser-guided missile or cruise missiles and many other modern missiles. This allows the B-52 to hit many different types of targets over all certain areas in just a few minutes. Combined with the long range, payload capacity and ability to refuel in the air, the addition of the CSRL makes one of the oldest aircraft in the US Air Force a veritable modern flying fortress. In the world of OAN, the B-52 engine is really a giant. B-52's maximum takeoff gravity is up to 221,323 kilograms when fully loaded with weapons and fuel. American engineers have considered a special landing plan for this aircraft when it lands. To stop the giant B-52 bomber is not an easy thing. In many cases, pilots use a parachute on the rear of the tail to assist with drag to help the aircraft stop on the runway. In many raids, pilots use a giant parachute in the tail to provide traction support to help the plane stop on the runway. This parachute is usually cut at the rear of the plane inside a special device to allow the pilot to control the pump from the cockpit when landing. Unlike conventional parachutes that use a plug for the B-52 that has many holes, it allows some air to pass through, creating less tension. Parachute than conventional parachutes. American engineers have reason to do so. High speed when landing B-52 can tear the parachute and lose its effectiveness. If the drag generated from the parachute is too great, in addition, the pilots also need to be ready for the situation of taking off again B-52 if there is a problem during its landing. B-52 landing parachutes are checked and carefully folded before being put on the plane. Soldiers need to make sure the parachute and automatic release mechanism have no errors to ensure a safe landing for the aircraft. B-52. Landing B-52 is a feat, so taking off it is not easy. This 8-engine giant hijacker took more than an hour to fully start up its engines before takeoff. Considering the B-52's design role was to strike back at nuclear bombs. Then such a long warm-up time makes it difficult. The more than an hour warm-up time makes the B-52 an easy target on the ground, as well as significantly slows down retaliation in a fight enemy's ballistic nuclear attack. Once again, talented American engineers have devised a quick start for the B-52. This unique starting method uses a small controlled amount of explosive to make the B-52's engine start up faster. Many of these starting methods proved quite effective, as it was able to get the B-52 into the sky in less than 10 minutes. Today, the B-52 rapid start method with a controlled dose of small explosives is standard for air and ground crews working with the B-52. During its 70 years of operation, the B-52 has effectively served the U.S. Air Force as a strategic bomber to deter potential U.S. adversaries such as Russia and China. The U.S. continues to trust and upgrade the B-52 to use it to protect their security and interests around the globe. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our new content. Thanks, and see you in the video next.